Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's a beautiful day here, beautiful Sunday. As always, thanks, Ben, for setting this up. Menla, as always. I want to remind everybody that the new master class, this is the second year, last year was very successful, begins Saturday, September 18th at 11 a.m., 11 to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, once a month through April. And we hope you'll join. I'm going to talk about a somewhat lesser known subject. The first time, it's called the five certainties, the five perfections, the five unique endowments. It's a Vajrayana / Dzogchen topic about perfect time, perfect place, perfect gathering, perfect student, perfect teaching, etc. The great perfection. And then go on with pure perception, Dakdang, sacred outlook, and other practices. This will not be a repeat of the last masterclass, I assure you. I myself like to and need to keep it alive, and there's a lot more to talk about, practice on, and teach about. Although I feel like we have, each of us, already enough to practice for the rest of our life, unless we're very much into new and better all the time. Best practices does not mean new and better. So, good morning. What a beautiful day just to be alive in these, what should I say, uncertain times. Things are going on. It's a good time for prayer and contemplation, as well as for considering the environment, social justice, equality, diversity, and so on. And being an informed citizen and voter. And vote with our heart and our principles, not just based on one or two buzzwords with somebody shouting, whoever's loudest on the media. It's a beautiful day to be here now, to awaken together, and to see you. In fact, it's the third anniversary of my late wife Debbie's memorial, so I'm feeling very thoughtful or tender about that, and just lit 7 candles on the altar and said some traditional Tibetan prayers and chants, as well as my own heartfelt prayers and thoughts. Since death, mortality, loss, grieving, etc., is an evergreen, timeless subject, I really hadn't thought I was going to talk much about this today, but I will say, as sort of in the honor of Debbie and all those who have passed, all those we've lost and will lose, including ourselves if we step back. We include ourselves in that, like with self-compassion and self-care and self-love, without being selfish, narcissistic, etc., self-absorbed. But just with compassion and objectivity, we too will be gone one day. So what kind of life can we live now, starting now, continuing now, at whatever stage we think we're at in our life's journey, our arc of the years? Who knows how long we'll be here on this planet. Buddhism calls the world, or the samsara, the zambuling, the floating world, the dewdrop world, because it's beautiful yet evanescent, like a dewdrop, like a bubble, or like bubbles passing on a stream, or even tempestuous times in a waterfall. So it's now or never, as always, to pull our socks up, pull our pants up, and get on with the life that we believe in. Just last night, I was meditating. It was Saturday night. I guess I had Saturday night fever. nothing to do but meditate. It's a good movie. Hey, it's the best show, the only show in town to watch one's own mind and its projections and interpretations. And dare I use the technical word, namtok in Tibetan, vijnana in Sanskrit, discursive thinking, sometimes called superstition or buying into mere thoughts, concepts, and labels, namtoks. And I was thinking, the way to treat people is the way they should be treated. And I was thinking about that, if it's some kind of tautology or conundrum or oxymoron, I'm the man from Thesaurus. And I was chewing on this about the should. Yes, this is one time I will say could or might instead of should. I should treat people the way they should be treated. And you can go on to think about what that is. Should, the golden rule, the diamond rule, seeing the light in everyone and everything and treating them thus, or however you want to interpret that. Because this is our life, and life is what we make of it. Life is beautiful, but it's also challenging. Life is fairly short, but it's long enough for those who know how to live. Life is time. Why squander it and deaden ourselves? Killing time is deadening ourselves. Life is like a river, as the old rabbis say in a Hasidic teaching tale. Life is like a river, the old rabbi says on his deathbed, to stay with our theme. And these famous words, these last words from the old rabbi with the beard and all, I'm not going to paint the whole picture, passes down the line of rabbis who were there in the room in Eastern Europe to the youngest rabbi at the end. Life is like a river. He said, life is like a river. Life is like a river. And the young one gets it and he says, life is like a river to himself. And then he says, why, really? And he passes it and he says to the next one, is it really? And that goes back up the line and the old rabbi's still alive. And they said to the rabbi, is life like a river? Why? And the old rabbi, almost with his last breath, says, well, maybe it isn't. So this is about Namtok. How much can we really believe or dogmatically fight for these beliefs or thoughts or concepts or labels or metaphors? Life is good, life is bad, life is hard. Even life is suffering, which is not a very good translation of Buddha's First Noble Truth, which might be more accurately to the meaning, I believe, be translated as the unenlightened life is full of suffering, pain, and challenges. There is another life. That's the third noble truth of the four. Anyway, I'm not teaching about Buddhism's four noble truths today. You can look it up. So you can't just believe whatever you think, not just whatever you read or hear today in the cacophony that includes the media, but also all around us. Life is what you make of it. Life is beautiful. Life is time, and who we spend it with. That's the way I look at it. Who we spend it with, and how. And quality time. Quality relations. Whatever you want to call it, of the heart, not just of the head, etc. So it's a privilege. It's a beautiful thing, I believe. I feel strongly to spend this time together every Sunday, to be with you all, and some of you in between in different ways, online, in person, in poison, as my sister likes to say in Long Island, and my jokey mind translates poison into poison. But never mind, that's just a little of the dark side creeping out. How we spend our time together. It's beautiful. Tomorrow's Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. It's a time to turn over a new leaf, to acknowledge ourselves and our lives and how we've been doing. and to purify and turn around and start again afresh. Atonement, if you put hyphens in it, is that one-ment. That's the turnaround. To repent, if you look at the Latin roots, it means to turn around. So I'm not advocating repenting or atonement. I'm just telling you it could be a good time for at-one-ment, for turning around our life, for coming back to ourselves and harmony. Like the great yogic adept, Mahasiddha Saraha, the Fletcher, the arrow maker, sings, straighten out the mind like it straightening these arrows, and straighten out your path in your life. This has come down for 1,000 years from the arrow maker, not a learned person, but wise and awakened. Look him up, Saraha, the Royal Song of Saraha. It's a great Buddhist classic. So please make yourself comfortable. Let's rejoice together and celebrate that we're together. We can do this. We have the freedoms and opportunities, the 5 perfections, perfect time, perfect place, the here and now. I mean, what could be better? Here we are. We can't put it off. To awaken together, to savor this gift, the miracle of just being together, the miracle of life, so tenuous, so fleeting. And dare I say, so endangered for many species, endangered for the environment and the whole planet, I suppose. Life is tenuous, endangered. Let's take care, including prayer and caring for each other. It's so beautiful. I'm looking at your faces, your pictures, and so beautiful. And I'm not just talking about looks. Somebody just sent me a photo of their 2-year-old darling grandchild in front of the Louvre yesterday, the great museum in Paris, which I love. You know, I lived in France for 8 years. Or was it 9? Little Sylvie. And I thought, wow, she's already an art connoisseur. And she's the most beautiful thing there. And isn't each of our grandchildren and children and pets and loved ones just the most beautiful thing there or here? That's called pure perception. Seeing the Buddha, the light, the divine in everyone and everything. Not overlooking the schmutz, the caca, the shadow side, the dark side, if we can still use that word. Yet that's part of it. Even the shadows are nothing but light. Check it out. There's no such thing as dark. Just like there's no such thing as cold, there's only heat, or the lack of it. So please make yourself comfortable. Let's have a little practice. Go into it. I'm enjoying thinking about Dak Nang, pure perception, sacred outlook, sacramental vision, as the Catholic theologians over at my friend John McCransky's Boston College over there in the theology department, sacramental vision, seeing this world like an altar and all the beings, the divine upon it, the saints. Has anybody ever remembered? Can you remember that at the time of Jesus, the 12 disciples at that time were called saints? Not saints that the church made saints later, as we now have because of their miracles and so on, but just for their life having been turned around and turned over to a higher power, to a higher cause than just egotism and selfish striving. Like the Bodhisattva vow. Each of us Bodhisattvas, Buddha beings, Buddha sprouts, Buddha seeds, Buddhas to be. How should we translate that word, Bodhisattva? Bodhi, awakening, Buddha, to bud, and Sattva, being, becoming our full potential, becoming ourselves. Doing the yoga of pure perception. Yoga, which usually means union in Tibetan, Naljor, means coming back, returning to the natural state. Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche, the late great, you can read his books about Dzogchen, Namkhar Norb Rinpoche, who taught in the Western countries longer than anybody. He escaped from Tibet. He came to Italy in the late 1960s. He spoke Italian and English eventually, as well as the Asian languages. Namkhar Norbu translated it also as something like that, but even more freely. I can't remember exactly what. It was something like coming back to your true state. Yoga. Fantastic. So coming home to ourselves, aligning ourselves. We could call it sitting upright, but more interesting, having an upright character, impeccable. Whether you're henpecked or not, impeccable. Equanimous, spiritual detachment, cool, yet caring. As the Zen master says, eyes like ice, heart afire. Ah, how sweet it is to awaken together. We're all mortal. To be funny, you could say in a mordant way, we're all dying. But who's going to truly live? Well, we have the chance now. In Tibetan, we call it this precious human existence. Free and well favored. Who's going to truly live? Life is long enough for those of us who know how to live, as the philosophers say. Oh, bodhisattvas, American Buddhas awaken, throw off your namtokes, your superstitions, hang-ups, and conceptual chains. Open those beautiful eyes, blue as the sky, brown as chocolate, black as onyx, green as chlorophyll, gray, the new black. Wherever, even if you're blind, open the inner eye, the third ear, etc. And the fourth eye and the fourth ear and so on, completely infinite awakefulness, radiant awareness. Imaho. Just breathing, relaxing, smiling. If you don't feel like smiling, just breathing and relaxing, that would do. If you're feeling grumpy today, that's fine. Be grumpy, Buddha. I see you. I'm not going to mention any names. I won't mention any names to protect the guilty. Don't you feel guilty? I do. I'm Jewish. My parents' side, as they say. Breathe and relax. Let it all go. To have arrived at last, how sweet it is. If you don't feel like relaxing, don't stress. If it's too hard to relax, you can't force yourself. Just breathe at least, damn it. That's a very important Buddhist practice, and I put Buddhist in quotes there. Haha. Very important. Keep breathing. Not necessarily deep breathing or breath of fire or pranayama or breath holding, but just breathing. Allowing your automatic, as I call it, automatic nervous system to just breathe through you, breathe you. Are you really breathing? Try stopping and see what happens. It's a good metaphor to see who's in control around here. Of course, deep breathing could help you relax. When you're anxious, try breathing deeply. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold it for 4, and breathe out for 4 counts. It's a great relaxation exercise. But now, just breathing, belly breathing, feeling your lower belly, the navel chakra. Inhaling and exhaling. Is there anything else to do? You don't even have to do that. How simple can we be? Rest in the still center, the axis of the turning axle at the center of the wheel of the universe, the wheel of samsara. The rattling wheel of samsara. Just breathe, relax, smile, breathe, center. Assume your Buddha seat. Natural body, natural breath and energy, natural heart, mind. yoga of ordinariness, of naturalness, calm and clear, yet lucidly attentive, wakeful. Attention, awareness is the essence, is the higher power, the inner power, in Buddhism, in the path of enlightenment. Pay attention, combined with at ease, relaxation, lucid, dynamically attentive, and yet also relaxed. Assume your Buddha seat. Like when you're driving, if you're a comfortable driver, attentive yet relaxed. Some of us love driving, no problem. Some of us stress while driving, that's different. Some of us love meditating, although it's not been always easy, I assure you. Don't get numb-tokes about it. I too, I had a good meditation last night, but maybe not the night before, the morning before, who can remember? Good and bad don't matter, we just keep practicing. Practice is perfect, you just do it. Like Mike, just do it. And enjoy the joy, the buoyance of natural meditation. Awareness alone, awareness, aware of awareness. Sky gazing, space mingling, infinite dissolving, open, emptied out, aware, present, the capital P. As Noor Rumshay translates the word Rigpa, presence, the capital P. I call it the practice of presencing. As my rabbi friend, late rabbi friend Alan Lau calls it, God as a verb, guiding along. Assume your Buddha seat. Imaho, wondrous, miraculous, joy, eureka. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Enjoy the joy of natural meditation. So Dzogchen meditation, pure presencing. Right now. This breath, only breath. This moment, only moment. Imaho. Nowness awareness, the authentic, unfabricated Buddha within. Imaho. Just sitting, just breathing, just awareful, mindful, attentive, open and empty, agendaless, and yet lucid, vividly attentive, aware. Vigilant, yet relaxed, dynamically aware, yet open, and letting be. As we always hear, let go, let go. But what is letting go? Letting go means letting things come and go, arise and fall, appear and disappear in the field of consciousness, in the body-mind continuum. Letting go means letting things come and go, arise and fall. Letting be, cultivating great equanimity, evenness, one taste, objectivity, clarity, prior to reactivity, responsiveness, prior to judgment or evaluation based on liking and disliking, attachment and aversion, the pushing and pulling that drives us and exhausting us through life. Eyes open, ears open, nose open, heart open, throat open, diaphragm open, anus open, everything open. At ease, infinite awareness, the big tickly, for a presence, Buddha vision. Subscribe to that, rather than the narrow channel of nam-toking, of judging, evaluating, of labeling, and reacting accordingly. One taste, the great equality, seeing the unity and diversity, the mandala principle, all whole, all center, no outside, no periphery, imao. Rest in the center at the origin of all things. Serene, aware, with capital A plus, just being, with a capital B plus, see? Imao. Delicious, delightful, imao. Enjoy the buoyance, the ease, the luminosity of innate wakefulness, Dzogchen, natural awareness, meditation. Nowness, awareness, imao. Eyes open, ears open, nose open, throat open, chest open, heart and mind open. Natural, at ease. Enjoy the view. Nothing more to do. Step off the treadmill of events, pull off the highway, and enjoy the overview, this beautiful viewpoint, gazing equally at all things. Miraculous. What a show. Imaho. Seeing through all momentary, illusory, ownerless phenomena and noumena, mind stuff. Like a dream, like echoes, like rainbows. Fascinating, rich, yet ungraspable, unbottleable, uncontainable. Imaho. Let it all go. Letting go means letting come and go, letting be as it is, as is, suchness, the isness, just is. Dig it. I love it. Imaho. Buddha vision. Sacred outlook, the great perfection. The perfect time, the perfect place, the perfect teaching, the perfect student, the perfect gathering, the perfect incarnation in this dreamlike life. Imaho. Alone, together. How sweet it is. Eyes like ice, heart of fire. Eyes like ice. Like the Connecticut poet Wallace Stevens' Snowman. Look up the poem. It ends something like, the snowman sitting in the snow with eyes of coal, seeing nothing that is not there, and the nothing that is. And heart of fire, sacramental vision, seeing this earth as like the altar, and all the beings on it like gods and goddesses, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, doctors and Rakutis. Imaho. As the Zen's teachings say, we're all Buddhas. Awaken to your true nature. Now, Imaho. Heart afire. Bhakti. Devotion. To reality. To truth. To something beyond ourselves, yet transcendent, yet immanent, indwelling in each and all of us. Imaho. Thank you. Om Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ham Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ham Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ham Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Om Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ha. Mantra number 4. Om Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ha. To the Femme Buddha Tara. Om Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ha. Om Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ha. Tara's famous 10-syllable heart mantra. Om Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ha. Om Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ha. Om Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ha. Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ha. Om Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ha. Om Tare Tu Tare Turiye So Ha. Tara, we love you. Thank you. Tara. Oh, Jetson, Palma, Drama, Checha, no, Jigdan, Dugyal, Kunle, Kyabdu, So, Holy Buddha Mother, Arya, Tara, Noble Liberator, please protect me, protect us from harm, danger, fear, disease, pandemics, and may we all together reach your level and be a benefactor, a liberator, a Mahasattva Bodhisattva for all beings, spiritual leader, awakener, Bodhisattva. White Tara of longevity, green Tara of liberating Buddha activity, red Tara of passion transformed to compassion, 21 Taras, infinite Taras, all females Taras, all beings Taras in this Buddha field of infinite lotuses, the infinite lotus array as we call it, this Buddha field. Every molecule, every grain of sand, every bit of dirt, a lotus growing in the mud, a light in the darkness, Tara upon it, in each of us and all of us. Tara's Buddha field of infinite arrayed beautiful lotuses. May we all arrive there now, where it is. Here and now, where else could it be? Tara, in the same beam as Avalokiteshvara, Jimrezi, Kuan Yin, compassion. Yamaho. Thank you. Now, could we chant Drikshin Rinpoche's prayer? We'll see it on the whiteboard in a minute. An excerpt from the Gyalwang Drukpa, the 12th Gyalwang Drukpa's long poem, autobiographical song called My Crazy Tale. You can see his website. He's a contemporary Lama living in Nepal, etc. Wonderful, enlightened master, English speaking among other languages. I call on you, my teachers, regard me with compassion. I sincerely wish to receive your blessings. Please regard your child's longing desire. Please bless me with the resolve to attain realization. Please bless me to have a steady and smooth mind, so that for this life and those to follow, as a true practitioner whose heart and mind are in accord, the special intention, bodhicitta, to help others is spontaneously present. May I build to benefit measureless numbers of beings. Without the toxic stains of a competitive mind, without the intoxicating liquor of anger and lust, may I be able to practice the peaceful and soothing Dharma. Through listening and thinking and examining, especially about those teachings I practice, may I be able to precisely determine their meaning. Raising the victorious banner of the ultimate practice, may I be able to accomplish great service to the liberating Dharma and all sentient beings, human and otherwise. This is the way I pray all the time, and I request all of you to support my prayers. This is the way I pray all the time, and I request all of you to support these prayers and practices and aspirations. Support each other, take refuge in the Sangha, the community of kindred spirits, as well as in the Buddha and the Dharma. Thank you. Imaho, thank you. How sweet it is. Do we have any questions today? Friends, beloveds, heart friends, as Yoshi Kempo Rinpoche always called us in his songs, poems, and teachings and letters. Heart friends, Dharma heart friends, wisdom heart friends. Ben, do we have any action there in the Q&A window?
I'm putting it out there.
Thank you, Ben.
Let's see if
Ben
we can
Greer's, ladies and
anything in here.
reeling it in,
I'm throwing out some.
throwing out some hooks.
Let's see. Anybody? Going once, going twice. You can write it in the chat. Lama DF just said, my sister just passed. Please say a prayer for her.
I'm sorry to hear that. Where is she? What's her name?
Her name's Gail, and she's in Michigan.
How old was Gail?
'70.
We pray for her. When the setting sun of this life fades and the light of the next lives starts to emerge, may the path be cleared. May the way be open in the light. May she and all those beings like her, passing through the shadowy passageways of the bardos, the inter-between, the passages, the transition, and we're all in transition in bardo one way or another. May they be comforted, may they be guided, may they be nurtured, protected, and go into the light to better lives, to greater things, elevated spirit, wholeness, oneness, great peace. Thank you, Gail, for leading us on today in this way. Thank you for being with us for so long. Love is greater than death, as a good book says. Amen. Thank you, Gail. '70 is a good, ripe old age. I'm 70. Food for thought.
Lama, if you could just comment on how you, Patty says, so sorry for your loss, and how do you deal with grief and sorrow? And we just have a couple minutes left, but if you could briefly address that, that'd be wonderful.
What loss? You mean the loss of my youth? The loss of Debbie? So many losses in life, you know, necessary losses, as Judith Fior says in her classic book on the subject, which I recommend to all. Necessary losses, as life is impermanent. But I know you're asking how I deal with grief and, you know, losing my wife and etc. I also lost my parents, but, you know, 15 or 20 years ago, they were at a good old age. Debbie also was 65. She lamented the young mothers and young people who were in the cancer wards we met over the years, who were going through it, much too young, it seemed. Well, I've been hearing the teachings my whole adult life since I was 18 or 20, in Asia, in the West, in books, now, you know, in podcasts, YouTube, online, thinking about it, mortality, death and impermanence, the cost of attachment, of holding on to things that are fleeting, and yet the meaningfulness of love and connection. And it's a balance, it's a koan. And love is greater than death. Where did she go? She still feels with me in some way. So grieving and also loving. The grieving is part of loving. As Marpa said when he lost his only son, his only child, the 16-year-old Dharma successor and only child of Marpa and his wife, the selfless Dakmima, in the Milarepa story. Marpa, Milarepa's guru, said, yes, losing a child is, losing anyone is like a dream, but losing a child is like an awful nightmare. So even the enlightened Marpa was not afraid to grieve, immune to grief, or suppressing grief. So emotions go up and down. We have to ride that wave, be that wave. And it's a loss, but also as a gift to the time we have together. Some people say you never get over the loss of a child, so I guess the loss of a maid or loss of a parent isn't as painful, and my heart really goes out to those many who lose children, etc. So that's a few thoughts. Grief, you know, sadness is part of life. It's good to go through the healthy stages of grieving, as Kubler-Ross has talked about, from surprise and shock to resistance or bargaining to, anger or resentment or bitterness, not getting into bitterness, but, anger or wishing it were otherwise, wanting to turn back the clock, and then, to more and more facing it and accepting it and integrating it and then moving on with your life. It's part of life. Not just dying, not going from sadness to depression, not indulging in depression, but experiencing and integrating sadness and grief. It's an important part of life and necessary losses that we go through, including of ourselves, as the sun of this life might fade, hopefully at a good old age. But it really depends on the quality of our life, not the quantity, I'm sure. So that's a few thoughts.
Thank you, dear Lama. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for helping put this together, Ben Beers of Berlin, the Triple B.
So I wish everyone a wonderful week. Again, we have our next masterclass coming up, the first of a series on September 18th from 11 to 1 p.m. I'm just going to write in the chat again all the information. And as always, if you appreciate the teachings from Lama and the Dzogchen Foundation, please consider either both making a one-time donation and becoming a member to support Lama's mission of transmission. Thank you again, dear Lama.
Thank you, and love to one and all. Stay safe. Be well. Bye-bye.